clarification on why Bran was chosen to be king. Some of it is actually good clarification, and other bits just aren't good. This video, I want to talk about the newly released script for the Game of Thrones finale, and the information it gives us on why they chose Bran to be king other than anybody else. So we all remember Bran being elected king in one of the more WTF moments of Season 8, and that's saying a lot.
Stories. There's nothing in the world more powerful than a good story. Nothing can stop it. No enemy can defeat it. And who has a better story than Bran the Broken?
I mean, again, who has a better story? Literally anyone else. Also, if you're saying, oh, he has good stories because he can look into the past and tell those, technically, plagiarism still doesn't count. Anyways, thanks to them releasing the finale script recently, we now know why certain characters decided to go along with Bran, because someone being a good storyteller is probably not a good reason to elect him king. Much like strange women lying in ponds handing out swords is not a good basis for a system of government. Just my opinion, but I also like Star Wars, and that's close to a war crime nowadays. So let's dive into some character motivation, first starting with Edmure Tully, who was absolutely eviscerated by his niece Sansa.
Stand before you as one of the senior lords in the country. A veteran of 2 wars. And I like to think my experience has led to some small skill in statecraft and an understand.
Please sit.
While I still think it's incredibly shitty for Sansa to slam dunk on Edmure that way, you know, Sansa, the guy that rose up to help your family and lost a lot doing so, and even had to marry someone to clean up your brother's mess. That person, the person that suffered a lot and did a lot for your family and probably should have a little bit more respect. Yeah, you're a cunt. I really hope, as Queen in the North, you learn to be a little bit better of a diplomat and how to respect other leaders. That will probably help you out quite a bit. Quite a bit. So here is why Edmure backed Bran according to the finale script. Edmure is still bemiffed. Yeah, there's an error in that sentence. Edmure is still bemiffed. He wasn't given serious consideration, but he expects he'll have influence at court if his crippled nephew is ruling. So Edmure is cool with Bran ruling because he thinks, I couldn't be king. You know, I'll have some sway in court because my nephew's the king. So that's kind of understandable and goes back to the point I made when the finale aired, that the Starks were given way too much power. You have Sansa up in the north, you have Bran with the 6 kingdoms, and then you have Arya going west of Westeros, and Jon being the king beyond the wall, basically. Starks fucking swept the floor. So I guess in the end, Edmure still sticking with and backing his sister's family that she married into makes sense, and he's also pretty secure as the Lord of Riverrun and the Riverlands. I mean, the North isn't going to attack him, and then his nephew rules the 6 kingdoms, so whatever. Now Gendry, Lord Baratheon, Lord of Storm's End, Warden of the South, goes along with Bran being king for a very important reason. He's just happy to do so. It's a riveting reason they give us in the script, but it does make sense. Gendry was a bastard and a peasant for most of his life, didn't even know that his father was the king, and then he learned it, and then he became legitimized, and now he's in control of a region. So he kind of got a good end of the deal compared to other characters. I mean, yeah, Arya pumped and dumped him, but I'm sure he can find a replacement for her. So I get Gendry going, okay, cool, the brother of the woman that ripped out my heart is ruling. I'm still learning how, in general, to be a lord, so yeah, cool. Neat. No, honestly, I think the script gives the best explanation for why Yara went along with Bran being elected, because in the show, it really didn't make that much sense.
Some of you may be quick to forgive. The Ironborn are not. I swore to follow Daenerys Targaryen.
You swore to follow a tyrant.
She freed us from a tyrant. Cersei is gone because of her, and Jon Snow put a knife in her heart. Let the Unsullied give him what he deserves.
The Iron Islands should have said, fuck you, and fucked off to the Iron Islands to rule themselves. However, the script actually gives us a fairly good reason why Yara decided to back Bran. Yara has heard that her brother died defending Bran. She knows this choice would make Theon happy. See, I can absolutely buy that. Yara is miffed that, okay, Dany was killed and now the Iron Islands don't get their independence, but she has a sentimental spot for her brother and his redemption and everything he went through, so I can see her being upset but deciding, okay, probably not gonna win this one. Whatever, my brother really loved the Starks and they took great care of him, so I'll give him this one. Unfortunately, the script doesn't give us a lot more information on why other characters went with Bran the Broken, still a dick nickname. By the way, Tyrion, kind of an asshole. Why did Robb and Aaron go along with Bran being elected? Doesn't say, but I guess from his generally bored expression, he just didn't really give a shit. He looked over to Royce. Royce is like, yeah, let's do this. And he's like, okay, cool. Here's my vote. I want to go back to the Vale and get some titty milk. Which I'm totally not knocking because look what it did for him. He's Brienne is easy, and it actually does say in the script that she's loyal to the Starks, so of course she's going to back anything with the Starks that doesn't involve their murder. Davos didn't even think he should get a vote, so he just went along with the majority. He's like, okay, whatever, this is what we're doing now. God, you nobles are a piece of work.
Not sure I get a vote, but aye.
And Sam probably likes the idea of the ultimate historian being in charge of the realm, especially since he helped out Bran a ways ago and probably thinks he has an in with him. The new Prince of Dorne, in case you're wondering, is still not named in the script, which is what the actor for the new Prince of Dorne said in interviews over the months after the finale. And if you don't know the motivation the actor went with for the new Prince of Dorne, this is what he said in a much earlier interview, I think all the way back in May? I mean, I think I'm a bit preoccupied with my own position because I've only just become the leader of Sunspear and Dorne, so I think I'm sorta pleased to be at the table, I guess. But also I'm thinking about eyes on the prize. Look after Dorne. I'm assuming there's a lot of backstory and stuff between the scenes that we don't see off camera. For instance, none of those characters have even heard of the Three-Eyed Raven before. So we're assuming that a lot had actually happened. Maybe there'll be a little Dornish uprising. Take over the remains of the Seven Kingdoms. Who knows? Whatever. I've been playing it like there's a mountain range between Dorne and the rest of the Seven Kingdoms. Like our house words are unbowed, unbent, unbroken. We don't care. This isn't going to affect Dorne a whole lot. I'm thinking about going and rescuing Alara Sand after this meeting's over, or something. Also, if you don't think that was evident in some of the new Prince of Dorne and his facial expressions, it's because he actually had a bored facial expression for the first couple days of shooting because D&D didn't tell him how to play it. In fact, it was on the third day that they came up to him and said, okay, so this moment's really important for Dorne. You're sorta really vested in this. And the actor for the new Prince of Dorne revealed in an interview, yeah, that wasn't how I was playing this character for the first few days of shooting. So don't feel bad if you got some mixed signals from the new Prince of Dorne. Besides that, we have a bunch of no dialogue lords and D-lords, and they don't have names. We don't know who they are, even though I know a lot of us have our theories, but honestly, if we're just you and me kind of laying it down here, I don't think D&D actually put any thought into who those lords were. They just kind of went, okay, we should probably get some more lords in on this dragon pit meeting and then just get out of that sweet, sweet Star Wars money. So there you go, why some characters decided to vote for Bran. I hope that puts your soul to rest or eases it just a little bit. Like, subscribe, and come back for more videos.